Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And my brothers and sisters, we have a gun buying and training buying boom in an additional category that we have not had before. It's amazing. Once the veneer of protection goes away, how quickly people start to embrace their Second Amendment rights. We are about to walk through what's happening nationally, and everything will be linked in the description box below, and you guys are going to like what I'm about to show you. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. We are distributing freedom twice daily, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. All right, my brothers and sisters, so we are going to talk about the Jewish community nationally adopting firearms and adopting training at unprecedented levels. Now, why is this an important addition to what we've covered earlier? Well, in the past year and a half to 2 years, we've seen unprecedented buying in minority groups, in female groups. In fact, first-time gun buyers were predominantly female for the first time ever in the last year and a half to 2 years. This is something that is becoming widespread. This is important because the main underlying demographics that support gun-controlling candidates are the exact same people who are buying guns at unprecedented rates. Check this out. This is very important for our gun rights fight. Quote, not safe anywhere now. American Jews are flocking to gun training classes. Quote, we can't put down the phone without picking up the next one, said a rabbi in Los Angeles who runs a nonprofit that offers firearm training to the Jewish community. Now, I'm sure you guys are pretty plugged into what's going on. That probably has something to do with International FAFO Day, where they called for violence across the world, and it's F around and find out, to be quite honest. But this is what the reaction is in areas that are predominantly not gun-owning areas, okay? This is a good thing. Don't get it twisted. I'm fully in support of everyone embracing their Second Amendment rights. I wish that certain people and certain people groups would embrace their Second Amendment rights before they felt the need to jump out and do something out of their comfort zone, but here's where we are. The threat and the insecurity provided by current events is driving people to embrace Second Amendment rights, which they haven't supported. This is key. Check this out. Hinya Shane has always been terrified of guns. The Orthodox Jewish artist and mother of two felt uneasy about her husband's decision to buy a handgun after they moved to Florida from New York last year. I would just block it out of my mind that it's in the house, Shane, 26, said. But after watching the events unfold in Israel, she's taken steps she never imagined herself taking. Shane attended a gun safety seminar at her synagogue last week, followed by a one-on-one session at a local shooting range. And full credit, by the way, to what I'm about to show you, this entire article. They are reaching out to get training, which is directly in contrast to what the gun controllers will tell you when people buy guns out of fear. No, fear is the catalyst. They're going and seeking training, and then they're doing this whole process. The veneer of safety, which is what the gun-controlling politicians prey on, is disappearing. If you go back to the earlier time I referenced, when crime skyrocketed, so did gun purchasing. Everything that we're seeing is justifying the idea that the Second Amendment exists for people, whether it's an enemy, foreign, or domestic, or it's just protecting yourself. This is key. Let's keep going, because something is happening under the surface. Firearm instructors and Jewish security groups across the country say they've been flooded with new clientele since Hamas assaulted Israel on October 7, and gun shop owners in Florida say they have seen more Jews purchase firearms in recent weeks than ever before. Again, purchasing, training. Listen to some of these quotes. Quote, these are mothers, teachers, and the majority of them are mostly people who have never interacted with firearms or thought about owning them, Kowalski said. There's a safety concern. I think people are nervous about what's going on and what can happen. Now listen to where this is happening. Rabbi Yossi Alfort runs I'm butchering these names, runs that organization, a nonprofit in Los Angeles that provides self-defense classes and firearm training to the Jewish community. He said they've received more than 600 calls in the last week. Los Angeles. This is an anti-gun capital. Anyway, let's continue. We can't put the phone down with picking up the next one, Alfort said. The calls for self-defense training, situational awareness training, and how do I make my shop or my institution a harder target has just been really, really nonstop. And I want to set up camp on that for a second. How do you make it a harder target? You arm the population. How do you stop an invading force? You arm the population. How do you stop terrorism? You arm the population. How do you stop crime? You arm the population. We have a responsibility to do so. We have the rights to do so. And we have the training and the experience to do so safely. Why would you go in any other direction? Which brings up a very interesting point that you haven't heard a whole lot of gun controllers out there pounding the drum for gun control recently, have you? No, because the safety veneer is gone and everyone thinks it's a stupid idea to do gun control. This is what they do. They lull you into a false sense of security, take your rights, and then when you need them, they go, oh man, I wish we had them. It's exactly what they do. Let's continue. I'm on a soapbox. All right. Now check it out. This is the history here. And then I'm going to show you an anti-gun person who's also made the switch. Quote, the majority of Jews in the country historically have been liberal on the left, pro-gun reform, pro-gun control, opposed to personal gun ownership, said Hank Schickenkopf, a veteran New York-based political strategist who is also an Orthodox rabbi. Jews with guns were always seen as an odd event. But now, Schickenkopf added, it seems the long-held view of the U.S. being the one place in the world where Jews are safe is coming to an end. It always goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you ever want to look into it, it's an interesting thing. Google it. Basically, you're going to need safety before you go with privileges. That's the idea. There's an entire hierarchy of needs versus wants, and needs really get to the base, and you kind of throw everything out the window when you feel unsafe. That's very high level. But the entire point here is you're seeing safety removed, and all the people who are against guns are coming into guns. Anyway, this is great for our industry, and I'm glad they're here. I just, like I said, wish they hadn't taken the time to get here. Now, here's another one, an example. Indy Tenenhaus, a preschool director and mother of 7 living in Hollywood, Florida, helped organize a gun safety training for women at her synagogue this past week. Her husband, who is the synagogue's rabbi, had already organized a men's group to go to the shooting range. This is male and female. This transcends social barriers. This transcends sexes. This transcends all of it. It's about safety for themselves and their family. Now, let's get into the extreme gun controllers who are turning. Check this out. A 41-year-old Jewish woman living in Miami Beach said she is pro-gun control and had no desire to use a firearm, but she signed up for gun training sessions after receiving death threats from unknown accounts on Instagram where she had previously posted about being Jewish. The woman, who spoke on the condition of anonymity out of fear for her family's safety, said the threats contained graphic images of dead bodies. And listen to the quote. Quote, it's not like, hey, I'm proud and happy I want to do this, she said of her choice taking firearms training. I have no choice. It's a very sad thing. That encompasses everything that we've been seeing for the past 2 to 2.5 years. People who are anti-gun don't want to do guns, whether it's from fear, whether it's from intimidation, whatever the reason is, past trauma, whatever. They're adopting firearms. They are utilizing the very Second Amendment, of which a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them have railed against as archaic and nonsensical until they needed it and safety became a concern, and now they're lining up for training classes. I'm not bashing these people for jumping onto the train. Get in here. There's a huge train. It's freedoms for everybody. But the point is, this showcases something about the human psychology, and even the left, who is against guns consistently, when their own safety is taken into consideration, they change course pretty quickly. The Second Amendment is here to stay for a reason, and that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.